on going out every we were planning on going out every day this week, like until I had to go home by the train on Friday. But one of the days it's like 100 and
Yeah.
we're not going out that day.
Yeah, well, humidity is another issue up there in the east.
No, yeah, it's
Mm.
oh my God. We're
Yeah.
it's good that we're like not right next to the coast because otherwise it would be worse.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, that's good here. Um, okay, what I'm going to do here is you could go ahead and accept the invitation, and I'll put the invitation to the class in the chat.
The Google
And
Classroom link?
yeah, it's Google Classroom.
Yeah. I accepted it already.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that was what I joined first. That's why I was late.
yep. All right. So let me see here. I need to move my chat over here. I guess I could refresh my page. Okay, great. You're in. And so I just created this real quickly. I was looking at the old files of the old student that I was doing this with in the fall, and I thought it'd be better just start from scratch. So let's talk for a second, because I want to give you an overview of what I think is going to help you the most. So, are you
Okay.
still there? Okay. So, first of all, let's get our tools in place. You should have a writing utensil of some sort, and if you like a composition book or if you have like a notebook, that's useful. If you just have paper, that's okay too.
Okay. Thank you. My cousin's gonna get that for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
I
really
realize you're
quickly.
not in your regular environment, so yeah, things are gonna people are gonna
Yeah.
be popping in and out, I'm sure. No problem. I'm recording this for your sake, in case you want to look at it later. Um,
Okay.
we have 4 weeks plus 2 weeks later in the fall, as you know. And so I want to give you some of the premises, some assumptions that I make to get the absolute best writing that I'm capable of. Okay. And it's abundance. That's what it is. So you've had probably choice assignments before in school where you could choose from 5 different topics or approaches. And while we're going to have a pretty clear way that we go about writing this or revising if you end up staying with the essay that you wrote, um, what you actually write on, I think you need to see it. So I don't know, it's something that I wanted to ask you. Given 4 weeks, I'm going to take you through some material. It's going to be very, very, um, there's a lot of it, and we can definitely spread it out over 2 weeks. It's not a problem. Um, but I think it's important to do some preliminary work on values, keywords. What are the core things that really make you unique and special? And so I'm going to start off by saying I took the Ivy League challenge. I have all the materials up. I'm just using it freely. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm supposed to use it like I am, but I did go through their um, their training, and so I have the materials. So I'm just going to freely use it um, with you, but we don't really have to do all the parts of it. Okay,
Okay.
it's a lot, it's much, but when he did the challenge, I think it was like Monday and then a Wednesday, and then in between you were doing all this homework. So, do you have the time between now and next Saturday, let's say an hour or two, and we'll try to start as much of it as we can today. But it's going to be definitely worth going through because it's this information is going to stick with you forever, and it will help you later on. I think when you apply to other programs, scholarships, even college essays if you do any kind of personal writing.
Okay.
Um, and even this year, you might use some of this material. Um, so do you have that kind of time, like a couple of hours?
Yeah, I should have a couple of hours. If
Okay.
I can like split it up a little bit, that would be helpful. Yeah. Like I can just do like a little bit each day if that would that work?
Of course, you're not going to have to check in with me every day. You certainly can if you want. But, between now and next week,
Okay.
you have me in WhatsApp if you have
Yeah.
questions. It's not as though you need to do this on this day and that on the other day. I would encourage you to set aside enough time. If you can, do at least an hour. But if that's not the way you work, that's fine.
Okay.
Some of this work is more on a deeper level where it's more like setting aside a couple of hours at a time. Sometimes works best for this kind of work, only because you're doing a lot of reflective thinking, choosing. However, at the same time, the materials laid out the way the guy laid it out is pretty straightforward. And you have to trust yourself, and I do trust you, that if there are parts of that assignment that I'm going to show you here in a minute that seem like redundant or too much, then
Yeah.
certainly you can abbreviate that process if you have clear ideas on that. So, all right, let's look at this. So in Google Classroom here, and I'm not really going to organize this just yet. I mean, I will by week. I kind of threw everything in here, and
Okay.
so I might have to remove some of this stuff because this wasn't other students' work. So I'll get rid of some of those. But in the meantime, um, yeah, and some of these are the same. So you don't even see this yet. So what I'm going to do is get rid of a couple things here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and post this.
Okay.
You can refresh your. Yeah, go ahead.
My camera's gonna turn off just while I click out to like a different screen,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
no worries. Um, so if you refresh your page, you're going to see three of these documents in your classroom tab.
Okay.
All right, and also let's take a look here. Before I forget, did you want me to look at your essay? I was starting to look at it and read some of the comments, but I hadn't really read through all of it. Um,
It's in a very yeah, I think it would be beneficial to look through it, but like for me, but like it's in such like a rough stage, and I still have to go through the comments that were made by my teacher still and the other person that I had read it. So because I had my dad has a friend in college admissions at Thomas Jefferson, so
oh, good.
yeah.
Nice, nice.
So I had him go through that essay too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's Mr. Kaushal. Kaushal?
Um, yeah. Yeah.
Kaushal. Okay. I think Julie Hausman is your teacher
Yeah. That's my
for your
teacher.
for that AP.
Yeah, AP.
Okay. All right. So let's talk for a second. Again, um, it's going to seem like I'm ignoring this essay here, but you said something key in our first talk together was you didn't really like it. Okay. So here's my assumption is if we uncover between 3 to 5 different topics, I'm not saying you should spend a lot of time on it, but maybe do a quick write on some of these. Just enough on, let's say, 3 different possible essays. Okay. 3 moments, 3 themes. I know theme is an important part. Then it's going to it might really motivate you And especially in light of some of the work we're going to do with uncovering some of your values and condensing that down to 10, I think is going to give you a new set of eyes for what you're about, to see yourself in terms of a a a customized list of values that represent you and nobody else on the planet.
Okay.
Because I value creativity and good food. You probably do too. You probably value fresh air. I value fresh air, but I value good melodies as in terms of being in touch with my emotions. So, um, music is very central to my life. Now, for you, that might not be the same thing. So, if I were to list 10 of my closest values and you were to list 10 of yours, and we were to show these to your parents could very quickly pick out, oh, that's Vanita right there, right? That's her fingerprint. And so colleges want to know two things. You can write this down. Um, they want to know, number one, and I stole this right from the Ivy League Challenge, but it seems like this, in everything I've studied, this is coming up. Who are you? Number one, that's what they want to know. Who are you? And number two, why does it matter? That's it. So it's going to matter to them. Um, the real you, obviously, your grades do not tell who you are. Your extracurriculars do not tell who you are. You already know. We don't need to spend extra time explaining why the personal statement is so important.
Yeah.
You already know that. Okay, done. Let's check that off. We know that. Okay. So one of the things while you're working, I'm going to do some background. You're going to be starting to work some take because I want some of your time here to be productive for you. So you feel like, Shaw wasn't just talking at me.
Yeah.
I was doing something. Okay. Right. You feel productive. And we'll come back. So if you have questions, I'm here. Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, yeah. So let's jump right in. I don't remember what I was going to say. Um, oh yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to be looking at those colleges um, that you're targeting. One of them was, and I have it written down. So if you can remind me those two,
Lehigh and Pittsburgh.
Lehigh and Pittsburgh. Okay,
Yeah, you Pitt.
Lehigh and Pittsburgh, and the other was Pitt or
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I meant them separately, like Lehigh University and Pittsburgh. You Pitt.
Pittsburgh University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not University of Pennsylvania at Pittsburgh.
No. No.
Okay, just making sure. Because in
Yeah.
California, we have that same kind of designate.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
University of
No.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll be looking at that. And but I don't want to look at that first. I want you to get clear on yourself. So let's jump right in. Okay. I know there's a lot here. Um, you really don't have to read this part here. You know, it's just preliminary stuff. You can read on your own. I don't want to waste your time here because I know that I'm here for a reason, right? To kind of guide you, and I don't want to just read material to you. Um, obviously, don't write about your most impressive accomplishments. You know that. Don't generalize. Like I said before, write what you know, write the truth. That's another way of thinking about who you are and why it matters, right? Um, Yeah. So, and we'll talk more about this as we really look at specific essays. I think we can come back to this. Um, okay. Background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe in. Okay. So let's and as we're doing this, I'd like you to jot things down in your journal so that you can collect these notes as you're sharing,
Okay.
and you might be able to use those to decide. We can use Chat GPT to not to write, but to help us look for moments
Yeah.
that might come up with your values, as well as give it some information about you, some of the things that you've done, some of the things that are important to you. So, um, and then it might give us some choices, some things to think about, and then you can decide whether or not that makes sense. So, um, all right, let me just plan our work ahead. Let's just skim over this document here. So, um, there's you, there's your mission. I know what some of that is, by the way, with regards to being a healer, being a nurse, and delving into that core values. These are going to be some things to think about here, and you're going to select some of those. So it's going to be a very big list and it's going to get smaller. But if the faster we work, the better, because it's very easy to overthink this. And then you'll take notes in your journal and you'll write down your values. We'll get to this today. Um, yeah, and then we'll talk about what are some of these topics, essay topics that really tend to work. And one of them is a struggle. But again, I'm going to go a step beyond this Ivy League challenge format here. And I'm going to say that when you talk about a struggle, um, and again, we're not going to go into this today. We're going to go into the negative of the negative on that. So we're going to establish the value of we're going to establish a theme of each of these pieces that you're going to write. And again, they're going to be really fast. Don't have to worry about a week for this, a week for that. Nothing like that. It's going to be like rapidly. Let's come up with some ideas. And sometimes those are going to be your best ideas. Plus, you don't have a lot of time, right? You want to enjoy your summer as well. You don't want to be all about work, right? So when we talk about that, and I'll write this down too, we're going to talk about a theme to kind of organize everything, whether that's a struggle or not. And you're going to be able to articulate that as a premise. Okay. So price of passion. And then you can talk about some sacrifices you made. A lot of this is probably going to, at this point, probably is going to be homework at this point, starting about page 10 or 11.
Okay.
Um, and then if we have to take another week for the rest of this, that's fine. Okay, there's a lot there again, and it's a bit scary, so I don't want to go too deep there. So let's talk about some preliminaries here. So for number one, and at the top of your page, you might write down these are 7 different prompts. Okay, so you can just put 7 prompts at the top of your page. Okay, so this is narrowing the field of the things that we can possibly write about, and this is going to be very helpful to you as you think about what am I going to write about? Okay. So some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. Um, so any thoughts there? And let's go rather quickly, and we can come back to it. We'll go through the 7 rather rapidly. So, do you have any background, identity, or interest, or a talent?
Um, no, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I don't I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, is there something you're particularly good at?
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
Is like for myself, I don't consider myself that really great at anything, but I do have musical instruments. I do have my writing, like music. Sometimes I write music. Um, I'm also very comedic. So I have like a humor channel on Facebook, and every now and then I stop what I'm doing and just record videos on that. Is there anything like that for you?
No, I'm like,
Okay. That's okay. Let's go to number two. The lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience?
um, well, I was in the mental hospital for a few months, so there was that. And I learned a lot from
Whoa. Okay,
that.
jot that down. Okay, jot that down. Number two. What did you learn from that?
Um, well, I had a few mental health struggles, so it was like each individual struggle, I learned something new. Like,
Mm.
um, I'm also gonna send you another essay that I sort of wrote about one of those mental health struggles. If there's a way that I can somehow shorten that essay, because
Mm.
I think that's the best essay that I've ever written, and including my creative
Mm.
writing and anything. And so if
Oh.
there's a way, but it's like 1,200 words. So I'm like,
Oh yeah.
if I can shorten that somehow.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can help you. I can help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of stories, like I had a story that was 1,500 words and they were going to publish it in the paper, and it was called The Right to Choose, CHEWS. So chewing, the right to choose, right? And
Yeah.
she said it had to be 500 words. Otherwise, she's not going to print it. I thought to myself, I can't do this.
Yeah.
How do I put my writing in third? It doesn't, wait, everything's important, right?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah. Everything's important.
I did cut it down to 500 words. They printed it, and when I performed it at Barnes and Noble at in their cafe, because I used to organize their open mic, it's the best thing ever. So being concise, oftentimes we feel like we're going to lose our identity, our personality, our uniqueness, our voice. Anything can be further from the truth, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. If you haven't done it before, you'll get a taste and you'll see, and your eyes will open. You'll say, "Whoa, I wish I would have learned this way back," right?
Yeah.
So the best writing is actually shortest, and I'll prove it to you. You know, the best writing is poetry. Poetry is so short. Think about it. So we can
Really?
use metaphors. We can use metaphors. I want you to jot this down. For number two, write down, just notes to yourself. Send Shaw my mental health, essay. Sorry to make it sound so. I'm sure it was more
No, no, no.
personal than that, right?
No, it's
But right, um, send him that, or and also um, jot down. Use literary devices. Okay, that already right there is going to give you like such a huge advantage in this essay because it allows you to say so much in so few words. It's like saying people, like people are so mean. People, like when you try to be friends with them, they do this and then that. And people sometimes they're hard to change because they have so many things they've done. They well, you know what? You can write an essay like that, or you can write a poem that says people are like ships. They
yeah.
don't sail very quickly and they like to stay in harbor. But that's not why ships are built,
Yeah.
right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, you can paint a word picture for your reader and you can say what you need to say in very few words. That way you can kind of have fun with it. Okay, so number three, first of all, for number two, is there anything else that you'd like to include there?
I think that was like the biggest struggle I've had. Maybe like
Okay.
also my struggles with like my physical health, but I
Right,
didn't learn from that.
right. And you see, this is what's so exciting about working with you on this and your willingness to take a step back. When you look at your essay on the one that you sent me already, you might look at it and say, "Oh my gosh, what was I thinking?" Right? I'm not saying it's bad. It's probably really good. But when you see, all right, enough. So you get the point. Number three, reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? It seems to me there might be something in here with, in terms of you being hospitalized in the past, but I'm
Um,
not sure.
so there's things with that, but I also wrote another essay on this exact, like literally this exact prompt for like it was like a because in my school district you can like try and apply to like this other really good high school instead of the high school that you would just go to because it's near your home.
Right.
um yeah, I wrote that one about my opinion about like justice, and I that was an okay essay. Just how my opinion on justice changed because I heard about an incident in France that like because like when I was younger, when you're younger, you like think, oh, like justice or whatever is like following the law and like just do it, being a good citizen, right? But then you get into the nitty gritty of it, and this girl in France, I heard about an incident. I think there's been multiple of these incidents now, but at the time I had only heard about the one in France. This girl was essayed in France, and she got it on video, but and the evidence was presented in court, and it wasn't allowed in because it was recorded without his consent, without the guy's.
Mm,
So that was like that was where I was like, okay, so maybe it's not just following the law. Um,
write that down. Write that down. France incident and morality versus justice, right?
yeah.
Okay, I can see you sent me something. Um, okay, let's move on. Let's go back to this. There's like a button I'm supposed to press here. Oh, there we go. Okay, four, reflect on something that someone has done for you that has made you happy or thankful in a surprising way. How has this gratitude affected or motivated you?
Mm,
Doesn't
um,
sound like anything really jumps out, but I don't want to rush you on that. But again, if don't feel like you need to force this, just go with what's easiest, the first thing that comes to mind.
the okay, so there was a like when I was struggling with my mental health, there was like a lot of like suicidal ideation that I was going through, as many people do.
Yeah.
And the one thing that like is the reason I'm here today is when one of my friends was like, "Oh, like I'll see you tomorrow." Like same time tomorrow, you know? Like and that
Wow.
was that kept me alive.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. I think that could even go under three.
What was three again? Oh, yeah.
Well, because it's almost like the way you think about big problems sometimes can shift on a dime. It can shift so quickly to being something so like, oh, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And it could be the value of friendship, right? Of that person.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. But yeah, you're right. That does go primarily under number four. That could be a pretty powerful one to write about. Again, I do invite you to and I should mention this and I'll write this down also. I think the first thing I was going to write down was have a theme, premise. Um, have you done any free writing? Like where you just
Uh,
write, and you don't really care about the format, sentences, spelling, grammar
for my college essay or just for in general?
in general.
Oh, yeah, I've done free writing.
Okay.
Yeah, my creative writing class did a lot of free writing.
Okay, great. Look. I want you to be really whimsical with this. Every student's very different, right? Okay. So sometimes the very best writing I do, the most insightful and most powerful, is done very quickly. Like I don't have a lot of time. Like, oh my gosh, okay, we're gonna eat dinner. We're gonna leave in about 10 minutes. And you quickly jot down like one of these essays, like
Yeah,
as a quick write, as a free write. You'll be surprised at what comes out. Okay. All right. All right. Discussion accomplishment, event or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others.
I don't think there's anything. I don't
Well,
know.
I perhaps I think um, the mental health challenges that you've had, obviously, I mean, from my perspective, and because I went through suicidal ideation when I was 19, my mother was going through some mental health challenges, which made mine worse. Um, and my life has totally changed, totally changed. And it seems like your life is, um, it seems like you've turned a major corner. Like I would never guess that you're going to, and I don't know if you still go through struggles, but it seems like you must have learned something while you were there or afterwards. And so I'm just kind of curious if you can kind of forget all these topics right here, just from you to me or from you to yourself. What do you think gave you the strength, the resilience to, what
Um,
was it? Was it just a relationship? Was it
yeah,
just growing out of it?
I think it was I mean, okay. One thing that really helped me out of like self-harm was my sister kept she she would like with self-harm it's an addiction. For me it was an addiction. And like many addicts do, they hide their vice like just in random little places. That's one thing that I really struggled with. Like I would hide it like in like I would hide razors and like lighters like just all around my room. And I would collect them even if I wasn't using them. I would collect them and it gave me like a sense of like safety. Right? My sister would consistently steal them because she knew what I was doing even though she was like I think she was like 7 or 8 at the time. Um and so like a little 7, 8 year old is like stealing your razors because she knows that you're harming yourself like that has has an impact. That helped me out of self-harm at least.
Well, it seems like it's the little hellos. Okay. It's the little hellos that you've gotten. It's the your sister stealing. So you may want to jot that down. Um, I'm going to tell you something, right? The way I'm thinking through this, because I'm a creative writer, right? And I read a lot. You got to write what you know. These little details, these specific details are so powerful because it's how you can begin an essay to really grab that reader. It's like, my sister stole my lighter. Okay, now wait a minute, wait a minute. If you start your story like I was 13 years old and my 8-year-old sister stole my lighter and my razor. You're reaching along, what is she talking about? Is she a smoker?
Yeah.
Right? Then you get into it. So that's sometimes the best kind of storytelling. It shows you something startling at first. Like think of it like a movie, right? So, all right, I would jot that down. Okay, let's
Okay.
keep going. I know I could just sit here forever and talk. And again, it's not about me learning necessarily about you, but it's just just trying to guide you into, different way of thinking to get some of these moments out. And whether you write about them or not, it's going to be totally up to you. Describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more?
um um I don't think there is anything. I don't really have anything like that. I'm just like kind of. Oh, I mean boba, like bubble tea.
Oh, boba teas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. You could jot that down. Again, some of these are going to be more, more effective than others. Um, Seven, share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that was okay. Obviously, you could choose the one that you started with on um, your physical challenges and why, how that kind of those key moments that kind of structure your journey in terms of wanting to become a nurse. Um, okay, we don't have to read all this kind of stuff here. Um, okay, you and your mission. Yeah, I think a mission statement here is our next thing we're going to look at. Um, and a mission is not always necessarily stated, but it can be shown in this essay. You can write a better application if you answer these questions first. Use your answers by one time. Answer the last sentence. Use that to explain who you are. So, what were some of these keywords here? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, just have no idea what it's referring to. There's something apparently earlier where you're jotting down some keywords here. Um, Perhaps it's in writing some of these that you would have found some keywords there. So, okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this way. I would draw a Venn diagram just like this on its own page. So, what is your mission basically? You told me kind of being a healer. There may be stuff in your essay that talks about that. And let's try to define what a mission is. Okay. Okay. So keywords, we're going to have to skip over. So I would just jump right into this, and I'm going to try to define this before for you.
So like for this, just do like like characteristics and then characteristics of my mission and then
Yeah, you can. Personal
okay.
characteristics. So a personal mission is a statement that defines an individual's purpose, values, and aspirations, guiding their decisions and actions. I feel like maybe this can come after you've looked at some um, values. So let's do this kind of a different way because I think it'll be more helpful to see some of these values here. So let's jump right here, and then we can always go back to this personal mission.
Okay.
Because a mission can be I want to be healer. I just don't want to limit you at this point. So let's jump over here. Clarifying your core values is one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself. When you're clear about what matters most to you, you'll be empowered to make decisions that align with those values. Identifying your core values will help you later on to write your soundbite, a one sentence synopsis of of you at your best. Hopefully this is better. This soundbite will help you to define who you are when writing your college application essay. And I even think that it can guide you in the writing myself because it can become a kind of premise. And good writers do this. They have a frame of reference. So if you're writing a story about a roller coaster, right? Um, 10 different stories from 10 different students can be totally different, right? My purpose for writing about a roller coaster ride can be to show you how I overcame a challenge, right? Somebody else might write about the same roller coaster ride, and their purpose might be to entertain, right? Or to persuade you why you should you should ride a roller coaster. So this is definitely one of the things that's going to give you a focal point here, but it's also going to give you a new set of glasses, as I like to think of it, because when you look at the values of colleges, you're going to be more adult in your thinking as you really go through that college application process. And if there's an interview process, you're gonna. Is there an interview process, by the way, for
For Lehigh,
Lehigh or
yeah, for Lehigh there is.
okay, this is going to help you during that process as well. Because what's going to do for you instead of you trying to show them how impressive you are, you're already going to know what they value. You're already going to know what you value. And let's say you narrow it down to 10 different core values that represent yourself. You'll be able to like even narrow it down further, if you will. That makes sense. And you'll even I can even help you prepare for that as well. Because one of the tricks to going into a job application or interview or giving a speech is to kind of memorize something and have it down so well that it doesn't ever sound memorized, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. My friend wrote a book called The Wounded Healer, Reach to the Wounded Healer. So you might say in an interview, or even before writing your essay, you might say, this is the story of a wounded healer, an imperfect healer, right? And that's an intriguing idea because wounded healers are more empathetic towards their patients. If you've ever been a patient before, right?
Yeah.
You understand. So that's how to kind of really get you in that college. It's a lot of fun when you do this kind of work. It's a lot of fun. Because you get crystal clear ideas about yourself. It's like you walk 10 feet taller when you wear this. Right? So I just
Yeah.
love this. I spent months doing this for myself, by the way. I've done this in detail. Um, all right, so take a moment to reflect on the following questions. What qualities do you admire most in others? So let me ask you, and I want you to jot this down because I think this will make your work go easier. We could go through this list of values here, but if you can tell me answer to these four questions, it'll make it smoother because your brain will say, "Oh, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that." So, what qualities do you admire most in others? Could be healers, teachers, parents, friends,
Um,
yourself.
I like honesty.
Honesty. Okay, honesty. Would you say that's close to being real, like being genuine?
Yeah, I think that's a better word for it.
Okay. I can kind of sense that just knowing you for this twice I've met you and the way that you're describing your life situation. So, um,
I don't like when people sugarcoat things. I don't see a point in it.
mm,
I think it
okay.
hurts people. So I don't think that it's
Oh, okay. Candidness.
yeah. I really don't like I don't like sugarcoating. I have not liked it since I was like 12. I remember making a friend and I
Okay.
was like, stop talking like that. stop being so like optimistic when like fakely optimistic or whatever. Just,
Yeah. Hopefully I've done it. Hopefully I haven't done that here. Um, what I admire most in others. Okay. Anything else?
um, kindness.
Kindness. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Um, had you not been a patient, would these priorities of yours, these qualities that you admire, would they not be as clear to you? But now
Yeah.
that you've been on the other end of things,
I don't I don't really, I can't say for sure, obviously, because I don't know who I'd be without what I went through. But I think that who I went through definitely shaped me as a person. And I think that a lot of the people that are in my life right now, I wouldn't have, like my best friend, I wouldn't have in my life, 100% would not have in my life if, um, because the first thing we bonded over was our shared experiences. I would not have
okay.
that person in my life if we didn't. And like the people in my life have shaped who I am and my values. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to sort of tie this into the kind of nurse you're thinking of. You kind of see the direction I'm going with this. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if these qualities were they helpful to you in helping you to recover quicker?
I mean, my recovery is was not quick.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. I don't want to read too much into this. Um, what principles guide your decisions?
um, empathy,
Empathy. Okay.
acceptance, I think.
Great. Right. What motivates you to take action?
Um, like I don't know the word for it, but like just like when people are mean for no reason,
Hmm.
like or like if one of my friends, like I really don't know the word for these. These are two separate things, but like when people are mean for no reason, because I people like that make me so angry. Like I'm not a very like I don't,
Confrontation.
yeah, I'm not very confrontational, but like if somebody's just doing that for no reason or like making fun of a girl's clothing, like I'm not, I don't know. That's just like that's disgusting.
Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute. Justice?
Yeah.
You have a sense of justice.
I wouldn't, I feel like that's a strong word because um because going back to that thing, like my own sense of justice is very different from the overall world sense of justice. I think that certain laws I don't really
Yeah.
are not like something I would consider justice, but they're
Yeah.
objective justice in this
No,
world.
but I'm talking about genuine justice though. When you see somebody treating someone else based on cruelty or ignorance, somebody bullying somebody else, um, I to me it just seems like isn't that a sense of justice? Like
Yes, yeah, in
in
a
the
way.
truest sense.
Yeah. I think, yeah, down to the word, I think it is. Yeah. I think
Okay.
also like just when my friends like a lot of my like I have anxiety with like really really bad anxiety with like ordering food at restaurants. Like that's
Uh-huh.
like I can't do that very well at
Uh-huh.
all. But if like I have a lot of other friends with that same anxiety, and if they are
Mm.
like there was this time we were at an amusement park and they like hadn't given us our ice cream and it had been 45 minutes. And so all my friends were like literally doing like rock, paper, scissors, shoot, like to who would go up. And I was just like, oh, I'll go up. It's fine. Because I don't want any of them to do it if they are going to get anxiety from it. I don't know
Yeah,
what
so
that word.
that gets back to the empathy. So,
Okay.
what do you consider most important in your life?
What or who?
What? Yeah, what do you consider most important in your life? Kind of
Um,
vague question, isn't it?
I can't like pick people. I have to pick
You you know what? Answer that question instead, because that's sort of like the first question, but I'm kind of curious what you might who you might say.
my friends, and my sister and my cat.
You seem very loyal.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, that's a good thing. Loyal. Um, okay. When I did this exercise with I think I did this with one student, and then the other student, I kind of like helped him with his essay kind of more quickly. It was kind of like help him real quickly. So we never got to this, but see if you can select the three most important. And I'll stop scrolling. I know it's kind of crazy making here. Um, Look at the list below and choose the three values that resonate most deeply with you. Now, I wrote down some of the ones that you chose: honesty, genuineness, candidness, um, kindness, empathy, acceptance. Why did I write down cruelty? It's more like non-cruelty, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that goes with kindness anyway. So justice, friendship, loyalty. Um, would you say being a helper? It kind of like sums up a lot of
I think yeah.
what you
I
have heard.
I do try like I try and help when I can.
Yeah, it seems like. Um, would you say courage?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and take a few minutes here. And why don't you? Would it be easier for you if I just shared this document in the chat so you could
I think
actually
that
open up on.
I have it on Google Classroom.
Okay, yeah, I would go through that list. And then like I said, we'll finish with this page here, and then we'll talk about what to do for between now and next week.
Okay.
So, all right. So let me know when you're done.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
the three that I picked were oh my God, I'm forgetting them already. Creativity, equality, and health. I picked different ones than the ones that you had already written down.
Yep. Creativity was one of my top three, I think. Quality and help.
Well, or health. Oh my God, health.
Oh, health. Got it. Okay, that's great. So I'm going to take a second here to see how much of this. I definitely think we should. Let's back up here. So we've done a lot, actually, believe it or not. Um, we finished up to here, and you can. I'm sure you've written it down or circled it. Page 8, embracing your imperfections, the power of struggle in your essay. I would go ahead and read this. Don't feel like you need to take a lot of time with this um, in terms of brainstorming, embracing vulnerability. Um, But read through that. Here's some ideas about struggles and setbacks. And really, Vanita, if some of these seem stupid because they don't really go with what where you're at, I'm gonna trust that your ideas of what kind of um, let's just call them different essays that you can write, different topics, right? Different moments. Let that come from anything that we've talked about. You can look over the work that we've done so far. If this material here doesn't help you and it seems kind of rather dumb, skip over it. It's not that important, right?
Yeah.
Because you've kind of mentioned some of this stuff already. But I really want it to come from your heart, and I really think that it's hard for us to know our heart and our mind until we see several things. Okay, think about your clothing in your closet. Okay, when I'm trying to get rid of something, and I've read this Marie Kondo book on how to tidy your life, what she says to clean your closet, put all your clothing on the ground. See all of your jackets next to one another. See all your pants, all your shirts, all your blouses, all your sweaters, all of that. Only then can you really make a wise decision because you might first look at a sweater like this shirt I'm wearing right now. I might think, oh, I could never get rid of this shirt. My sister gave it to me. It's so nice. But if I see it with all my other shirts, I might think to myself, no, wait a minute. I like that blue shirt better. It's definitely more me. And guess what? That blue shirt over there is a better material. So sorry to my sister, but I have to get rid of this shirt, right? Because I can only keep 10 shirts out of
Yeah.
40. Okay. It's similar when you're writing an important essay like this, especially one that you want to like. You don't want to hate it, right? No point in working on something if you hate it, because then you're not going to do your best and it's not going to reflect. I would much rather have you write something you enjoy, but you need to see these different ideas. You're not going to know until you actually explore different things. So just come up. Here's your homework. Number one, read pages 9 through um, sacrifices are going to be very, very important to talk about too. Is that really, I think that proves what your true values are, what you're willing to sacrifice for it.
So
Because up,
nine through what?
let's take a look. 9 through 11. E, I say that we get at least through half of this. So I'm thinking also talk about your contradictions. This is what's going to add depth and authenticity to your writing piece. It's going to be super important to be aware of what your contradictions are. Okay.
Okay.
And you've done some of this work already, I think, because you're talking about what positions have you held that others disagree with? Well, some of them are the laws, right? Like you mentioned in France. Um, we're going to stop right there, I think. I think that's enough. So read pages 9 through 14.
Okay. That's not
I
a lot.
think 13, actually. 9 through 13.
Okay.
Okay, that's not a lot. Um, well, because here's the other thing. I want you to let your mind go on some of this stuff. I'm kind of going off the page here. I know it's very scripted here and it's very, nice, but I want to invite you to actually write some full moments. Let yourself go. Just go crazy. Um, and stop when it doesn't seem like it's fun or it's flowing. Or if you start to be, get a little bit anxious about, well, how am I going to write this? Then just lay it down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I want to see like 3 to 5 different topics, different moments.
Okay.
Write about the ice cream incident. Write about the your sister stealing your razors and your lighters. Write about finding out about this the incident in France. Okay.
So the homework is 9 to 13, and then write about like five different, like just little blurbs about it, or little like free writes.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell a whole story. Just let yourself go. Just let
Okay.
yourself go. Just like you're writing a letter to a friend. This is what happened here. Like you're confiding in a friend. And use like profanity if you need to. Um,
Okay.
use your contradictions. Just let it all hang out.
Okay.
Um,
Is is do you want me to send you those? Do you want me to do those in like Google Doc?
I mean, you can send them to me so that I have it wouldn't hurt. It's not as though I'm going to critique them or anything. Um, but yeah, I think if you feel comfortable with that, and if there's, a part of it that you don't really want to share, that's okay too. And I'm sure you're okay either way. But I want the writing to kind of flow, and I want you to describe it. Have fun describing it. Describe what the person was like. They were ugly as a clown in a horror movie. Um, her voice was sing-songy. Give me dialogue.
Okay.
It's see, let me see. Bring your values to life, describing yourself in key words. Um, so this is another level here, but I'm just wondering if this might I know you're capable of it, but I'm wondering if it's easier to just focus on what we have now and to not muddy our thinking too much.
Okay.
But you be the judge. If you want to move ahead starting at page 14, it just moves in a different direction because here it's more deliberate in terms of, okay, this describes me, this is who I am, um, and making it turning it into a statement, right? So it's gonna be a short blurb. Like, you know what an elevator speech is?
No.
An
No.
elevator speech is when people are like networking and they only have enough time to say something real fast because they're meeting in the elevator. Okay, so let's say you're at your job and there's somebody who you've been trying to get hold of, right? You sent her emails. You're trying to explain to her. You got a great idea about how to change the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Um, and rather than say like, "Oh, hey, doctor so and so, I was just thinking that I worked downstairs and I worked for a couple of years, and I really feel that we need to do better on, it's kind of like wishy-washy, right? So an elevator speech, what you're going to end up with is, well, he calls it a soundbite. I call it an elevator speech. It's a well thought out statement of your purpose or who you are. So you can say, hey, Dr. So and so, I've worked here for 5 years. I'm one of your wounded healers. And I feel that empathy would make these hospital floors much better. But it's even more than that. It's more like I'm the wounded healer who spreads empathy in her surroundings, something like that. I know that sounds corny, but so
Oh, okay.
it's basically that many words, right? It's like a tagline, it's like a caption, um, that sort of thing. Okay. It takes a lot of work. It's not something you can just come up with, and I don't suggest you just try to come up with it because it really comes down to those keywords.
Okay.
Requires some thoughts. So if you want to move that far ahead, fine. I just don't want to take so many weeks here. So here's my challenge to you. If you can finish the whole document and you feel that, you know what, you'd rather focus on here than write these other essays, it's up to you. So it's really kind of a choice. So choice A, and I'll send this to you in WhatsApp, by the way. Um, read 9 through 13 plus free write 3 to 5 quick
Thank you.
essays. Okay. Because I want to give you a sense of abundance in here. And that's kind of why I'm having you do these free writes. is just to show you, like, oh my gosh, these are some of the possibilities here. So I'm kind of excited. That's what I kind of want you to go through. Or read 9 through 23 and do as much as you can. Either way, if you select the first choice and you only get to page 13, we'll get through the rest of it next week. We will. Okay?
Okay.
Because like I said, I don't want to waste your time with a lot of wishy-washy stuff here. Especially if you come to me next week and say, I have a better idea about what I want to write, because I think
Yeah.
it'll really show these things here. So I'm totally open to that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Hopefully that's been helpful.
Yeah, yeah, it was. This is a helpful talk.
Okay. Any last questions or takeaways?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. See you next week.
Thank you so much. See you next week too.
You're welcome.